Hey, yo, what is up, everyone? It is Corey Lejaganetel Marco back with another episode of the DODCAST with a different format yet again, since last time that I was doing this, I was on a different computer. As we can see, I, of course, am going to need to find out exactly which episode it is, because on the other format, I can tell immediately. It is Season 5, Episode 5. Which, of course, will be recapping Anzio and predicting a bit of an unknown quantity in recent DOD times, for sure, which is Saints. I will be very, very interested to see how everything plays out on Saints. It's been a while since it's been played competitively. I think the last time I remember would have been, like, probably the 5th or 6th last season. No, yeah, probably like the 4th or 5th last season at TPG it was played. I only remember that because there was a 5.5 men match on it, and I know that was about that many seasons toward the end. Although I could be wrong, I might be misremembering. Regardless, having got to scrim it once, it definitely feels better than it used to. It's certainly still a nade fest, though. I think there's no denying that. And it certainly still feels allied-sided. But I know that changes are continuously being worked on. Like, I've already seen some of the things that are being done to the map that I think will help out the Axis side of things. But before we get into any of recapping the pretty interesting week that was Anzio and predicting the Saints, we've, of course, got a usual gift from War Within in the form of the Frag of the Week, which I will have to get this whole thing set up so we can see it. Let me just pull this bad boy up so that it's ready to go. Yes, you can hear it, but you cannot see it. I already immediately look and just see another Thunder movie song posted in the Frag of the Week music submission channel. Like, that channel makes me so fucking nervous, man. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my god. If I don't finish this movie, like, tomorrow, it's going to just be reusing a bunch of songs that were used in the last month. I swear to God, I'm cursed. Alright, let me get this bad boy up. War Within, once again, I actually had this done earlier than usual, so deadlines ain't shit to this guy. I did not get to submit anything this week myself, because I didn't really have time to watch my demos. I don't think I maybe had like one shot. So, not missing out on anything from me at least, but I suspect there will be quite a few interesting ones just off the top of my head from a couple of the games I casted. Alright, so we start off with the Frag of the Week. We don't have any other movies to do this week, so that should cut down on the time. I mean, but I say this every week that, like, this will probably be not as long, or this will probably be this long or this short, and then every time I talk for an hour. So here we go. This is Season 5, Week 4, Frag of the Week, DOD, Anzio, War Within, the God of the FOTWs, bringing it back once again in 4K. So hopefully, but he's not going to be online tonight to release this, even though I am recording it right now. Very unfortunate. I feel bad that, I guess anyone who wants to watch it in the next, like, 10 hours can just watch this over and over again. I don't have my glasses. Oh no, I found them. I mean, I don't need them, but I feel like this looks more professional. Oh yeah, I know what this is right off the bat.
Oh, the crowd shot by Bromley just takes off the head of Scott.
Yep. Look at them 4K textures on Anzio. Looks like you can run your fingers on that wall and get fucking cut by it. PB. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh, poor Carpenter. It's one of those times where you're just holding that tight angle, but they don't peak the tight angle. Stamp on the old STG. After being a sniper for these first 4 weeks, he's still got that recoil. Oh no, he's getting into the trough. I like that Axis forces are victorious font there. Red Dog. Oh yeah, good play to hold Plaza. The allies there thinking they got it. Man, that shot never hits for me. Bullet, nice shot. Oh, he's doing the animal KBC 3 thing. Of course, when that happened in KBC 3, it was because it was illegal to spawn camp. War Within, the man himself, nice shot on Big Bird. Gonna get a third. Oh yeah, right through the corner on Cam. Toki, oh yeah, Toki had a big game. He's had a lot of big games this season again. Nice. Oof. Of course, we all saw what she was doing across the 2 matches he played here. Just running around fragging. I think I remember what's about to happen here, yeah. Yeah.
G with a triple there. 1 for 1 and then a double kill collateral. And she has been an absolute thorn in the side of Grey Hair Mafia, another one.
Yep. He done did. That was one thorny boy on this day. Matt again. Oh yeah. And through the corner. And a third, nice. Bullet. Oh, that's what when the STG works. It's a beautiful thing. Ooh, double windows nades. I do like these. Scotty, of course. Was that 3? But one of them was a TK. Just fundamental double window Karin right there. Yep. Nothing you're gonna do to counter that. Scotty knows what's up. Here's oh, deep into the tower. Jesus, he's gonna do more too. Yeah, that's a nice fucking Allied Plaza Sniper 3K right there. That wall, that deep into the church. Fucking sick. I remember when Baron did this too in his first match back in KTP in a couple seasons. Just picking guys off the spawn ramp from a distance. Yeah. Nuts. Toki again. Oh, Devin. Oh. And a third. Okay. That's a sick clip right there. He's still going too, and a fucking fourth. And he's still going? That's ridiculous. That's the fucking clip of the week right there. I don't know how anything's gonna top that. 5 kills. Fast. That ridiculous no-scope and a nice wall shot. Azilla with the double pistol and pizza. Now Cody. I think I saw this, yeah. Then he gets the third on the flanker, yeah. Colin against us, yep. Gets Brian and John pushing up. I don't remember what happens here. Obviously, I didn't cast this match. Getting the jump window. This has got to be a cap out. 1, 2, 3, and the cap out, yep. Nice clip there, too. And a big cap out. I mean, I think we lost by, was it 70 points or 74 points? Something like that. So that cap out, for all intents and purposes, did it. Jeez, man, that Devin clip is insane. Devin just keeps racking up crazy clips this season sniping. It's, what's he going to do on Saints, which is a map that, I mean, good snipers generally, you're like guaranteed 60 kills overall on Saints, I would say. Especially, I mean, Allied side is like probably one of the most frequent 40 bomb halves I've had on any map is sniping Allied side of Saints, along with old Axis side of Donner. But man, that clip of Devin. If he made a movie from just this season, it would be a fucking crazy sniper movie. Jesus, that's definitely my pick for the clip of the week right there. 5 fast kills, starting with the sniper, pushing up Plaza, clearing out the whole route, and then some. Yeah. Again, another I don't know how he's making these this fast. As I've just pointed out, I'm still working on the Thunder movie, and I started working on this thing in like sometime last year, yeah. Like probably during season 3, I would say. I started like actually making the clips. Like I was getting everyone's demos and timing them over the course of the first few seasons. I think I actually started making clips about a year ago, so the fact that War Within keeps putting out quality product week in and week out with about, 5 days to do it is pretty crazy. As I've pointed out already, he's basically doing the job that 5 people used to do, trading that role week in and week out. So, I don't have the updated list on here. I just noticed that because I know I did get $10 there too, which I had it on the other computer. But anyways, time to start with the recap for Anzio. Please don't forget to submit to Frag of the Week, week in and week out, but I will remind you again in this video at least once, and then any other time I'm live or make a video. Although it's not looking like I'm going to be casting anything this week. I very much miss when we were playing all of our matches on weekdays. It seems like that's just not very possible anymore. It's just getting harder for us to do weekday matches. But it was nice because then I could cast like just all day and night on Sundays, which was generally the idea. Like it would be tougher to get our starting 6 out on the weekdays, but it meant I could do as much casting as my heart desired. Now it's kind of like, it's a clusterfuck trying to schedule for Thunder, honestly, but we're mostly doing default time on Sunday nights. So like every week, I'm basically left to the afternoon matches on Sundays, anything that's played at like 10 Eastern, and then anything that's on the weekdays. And now this week, it looks like Jane might have to play in the afternoon match, 3H versus Saab. So I'm probably not going to get to do that match or the Bandits versus Over match either, if that's the case. And then there's only 9 o'clock matches after that. So it might be a cast-free week, which would be a first. Yeah, that's the downside of having all the default time scheduled matches. It's the one, I love just getting the fucking match out of the way, but it does suck when most of the other matches are at default time, so we shall see. Maybe the afternoon match will still be in play tomorrow, but just so everybody is aware, there is a far higher than 0% chance that I don't cast at all this week, so I should check the other matches. I don't think they're, 99999. That's us. Chilled versus Gray Hair Mafia, I don't know about. This 3H versus Saab game isn't listed, but it is at 3:20 on Sunday. So, like, these two matches, I would basically have been able to maybe, maybe cast, one half of each or something. I probably would have just done this one, Over versus Bandits. That's a big game in gold. Maybe I can still get a half in. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure something out one way or another. Maybe I'll have to do a delayed cast, with an HLTV or something. I don't know. I find it hard to get as excited because there's no way to avoid spoilers. So, I'll know who won already, and then if there's any potential drama towards the end of the game, I can't feign that shit. I get genuinely excited and intrigued when I'm casting. I can't make that shit up. So it's difficult to do it, I think, on an HLTV. But if I have to, I'll give it a shot. All right. So, is there anything else I need to talk about before I start this? I don't think so. Let's get on with the cast. What do we got there? Oh, that's right. There was makeup matches played too. Okay. Where are the makeup matches? That's all Thunder. This is a makeup match. Okay, so this was a pretty fun one, actually. This is from Thunder Week, which was week 3. We had Over versus Chilled. This match was very weird. So, just to look at the screenshots here, you can see you got Colin, Timo, playing for Over. Mata is here, but he's 7-11 because he went AFK, I think, with 11 minutes left in the half. So they're playing 5-on-6 to start off here. And then eventually they do get a ringer in here, Scotty. And on the other side, then Hildebrand had to leave, so Stealth came into rings. There's just a buttload of ringers and AFK, and it was a very weird match. But in the end, Over actually wins 97-79, which was a big win, and it just makes me feel smarter and smarter, right? The more Over wins, the more I'm like, hey, how long have I been saying Over is about to be the team? Obviously, this is a bit of a weird one with ringers and everything, but I don't think it makes too big of a difference. Look at all the guys that Over would have had in there for the guys that were ringing. Like, it's pretty comparable. I think this game ends up being pretty similar all around. Certainly, you can't ever account for the randomness of DOD, and obviously Colin with that, 13-0 or 12-0 start that he had in Midhouse on Axis Side Thunder, which we could talk about the Midhouse Thunder thing forever. Everyone knows my opinion on that. I talked about it at length that very night. But, maybe we'll see a change to that, maybe not. I know a lot of people are pulling for it. In the first half, though, 54-40, Children Skilled wins the half by 14 after the Herculean effort by Teemo and Mid. Scores-wise, you had Hildy on the top with 24, 21 on Sick, 20 on PB, 16 on Insane, 13 on Raven, and 11 on Chi. And then on the Over side, 31 on Devin, he's probably going to end up like at or near the top of the gold stats this season. He's been a beast every single week. He had 31 and 16 to be exact. 24 on Kum getting back on the rifle. Always good to see. 22 and 10 for Colin. Just 2-to-1 ratio. Obviously had to slow down a little bit after the 13-0 start, but did not stop doing important things. And then Travis had 21, 11 on Caffrey, and then the 7 on Mata, but he was AFK for basically half of that half. And then in the second half, we are missing a couple people at the end here, but for Children Skilled, they lose this half 57-25. Stealth came in for Ben Hildy and did a great job. Stealth looked excellent coming back in. Hasn't been sniping this season. Did just fucking fine. 27-19. Had a buttload of multi-kills. Was just running all over the place, fragging. He looked great. That's definitely not something that really can be used to downplay this win at all. You can't be like, well, what if Hildy was in there? Well, I think he would have done about as well as Kevin did, to be honest with you. 27-19, really great fill-in half there for him. Sick with 24, Chi with 21, Insane with 15, and then I'm not sure what the other two scores were. On the other side, though, the MVP of the game, as it ended up being, was Kum. He went on a hell of a run. He goes 32 and 16, 2-to-1 KD ratio grinding this half, but I don't actually even know for sure how many kills he had when he got up. He got to Axis Loft as an ally with the car, and he was there for 4 minutes. They just could not get him out of there. I think he had at least 10 kills in that spot, and they were coming in groups. It wasn't just one, and then a minute later they've forgotten about him. It was actively battling with people forever, just getting chipped down little by little on his health until eventually Kevin ran in, swapped out that sniper for his new class at STG, and sprayed him down to finally get him out of there, but the damage was done by that point. Children Skill would have had to cap out to get the win, if I recall correctly, which is just a fucking huge ask on this map, as we always talk about. But 32 and 16 for Kum ends up with the MVP overall with 56 kills. You had 28 on Devin again, 28 and 16. Just constantly putting up 60 kills or more and 25 to 35 deaths. Just exactly what you want out of a sniper. 28 kills on 50 as well. Just a great Garand half out of him. 24 for Scotty. He did an excellent job holding on to mid and mid-house here too, which is something that he's good at when he's playing with Saab too. We see it all the time. And then Colin and Caffrey, 17 and 15 with the heavies. It was one of those situations where a lot of the time the engagements that they had were coming out of the bunker exit and having long-range, standing heavy battles against rifles. I get why they're not dropping 40 kills there. That's not something that's going to work out for anybody all that often. And in the end, Over gets the W, which just continues this wide-open fucking season of gold, which we've been talking about since day one. It's So that was the makeup match. I just wanted to get that out of the way so we could just go straight into all Anzio. I did not get to cast many games on Anzio. I did get to do a couple. Where does it start? Okay, so I got to do half of this game. I believe it was, roughly. So this was the first half. Yeah, I got in, I think, with like 6 or 7 minutes left in this half. So this is Saab versus HRG, which Saab wins 859 to 191. As you can see here in the first half, 394 to 73 on Saab's Axis side. For HRG, there was 22 on Illusion, 20 on Aim Tech, 19 on Head Like a Hole, 17 on G, 13 on Gandhi, and 11 on Pipes. On the Saab side of things, 35 and 12 for Toki. As I said, he had a monstrous game. 27 for Baron on the car, another guy I talked about watching that frag of the week. Immediate impact upon return. A guy who's got a buttload of experience playing in gold as well. Just a really, really good player who can play with any weapon as well. And I think that's kind of a big thing on Saab because the versatility comes into play for them. Like, they will swap classes on certain maps. Obviously, with a guy like Nightmare, he can play any class too, so having that flexibility does go a long way. We've seen Toki heavy before. We obviously know King Yo can play with any rifle. It's always better to have a versatile roster so that in the event you don't have the guys you're expecting to have, you're not fucked for it. But yeah, 27 kills for Baron there, 24 for Scotty, 21 for Caleb, and then 20 apiece for King Yo and Manor. And then in the second half here, everybody was gone by the time the screenshots went off, basically. It was 465 to 118, obviously, for Saab. Gandhi had 20 and Head Like a Hole at 18. Everybody else had left, which I know was particularly upsetting for stat keeping. But on the Saab side of things, he had a 33 on Baron, just looking great. Toki ends up going, 67 and 27, I think it is. I believe, right? 35 he had first half. Yeah, 35 and 12 and 32 and 12. So 67 and 24. Just ridiculous half there. Toki, I think, is, as I was saying about Devin, I think Toki's going to end up right near the top of that silver stats page, too, with the way he's been playing all season so far. 24 again on Scotty, 24 on King Yo, 22 on Manor, and 18 on Caleb. I didn't miss anybody, right? Whenever I do that switching between screenshots thing, it always fucks me up. And then I forget if I missed somebody. Usually I remember eventually, though. So, 859 to 191. Obviously a big win for Saab there. HRG roster in a bit of turmoil. It kind of has been throughout the season. There's been a lot of, both Illusion and Aim Tech. Are you going to continue playing? Are they not? Now, obviously, we know Illusion goes to 3H. I'm not sure what's going on with the rest of the roster, actually. I hadn't seen... Okay, yeah, it looks like Aim Tech is gone as well. Oh, no, he's still here. I was going to say, I didn't think so. Yeah, okay, so they got Nitro, Storm now, and Vanky. I wonder if that's Storm as in NPG Storm. I don't know. Purely speculative. But yeah, with HRG, it's been just one of those things all season, it will come. They will click. They've got a lot of good players on the team. It just seems like they haven't been able to match. Now, obviously, Illusion going to a different team, which, hey, he wants to win. He is maybe the most committed player in the game right now to trying to get better, and he wants to win. And going to 3H is obviously a really good way to go about that. The team that won silver last season, I think he fits in really well on that roster. They lose Austin, but Austin, I don't think has played a match yet this season. As far as I know, he is pretty much inactive at this point, or was having a lot of trouble being able to make match times. So it's one of those things where, obviously if Austin's playing, that's a fucking sick sniper to have, but when he's not playing, it's basically just taking up a roster spot. Being able to give that to Illusion is a hell of a guy to be able to give it to. But for HRG, it's just kind of hit the reset button now. Clearly there was a lot of just shit going on behind the scenes there. And I think that just kind of starting fresh now, kind of treating it like the second half of the season is a new season going forward, getting ready for the playoffs. Everybody's making the playoffs. And there have been some crazy fucking runs by teams that started off worse than this to start a season. I think that they can very easily make a run when the time comes. It's just a matter of deciding whether you want to keep playing or not, because that's tilting. I completely fucking understand. This has been a very tilting season for them so far, but there's plenty of time to turn it around as well. So hopefully they will just continue to plug away, because I know that they have been relatively active too, which I always love to see. And yeah, it'll just be a matter of how they keep pushing forward now. It's going to be certainly not the easiest thing in the world, but if they can just kind of recenter, maybe look at who's going to play what class with any regularity and what the lineup is going to be and everything, and just kind of like focus on going forward to the playoffs now, because they have plenty of ability to go forth and win the bracket they end up in either way. So moving on forward, we've got the Goose Patrol Romario game. So I did not get to see this game. I forget what was going on at this point. I think this was at the same time as our game, maybe. Yeah, I think this was at default time, so we were playing at the same time. I really wanted to see this game, but again, same thing. We're playing at default Sunday night every week, and the biggest downside for that for me is just the casting not being able to happen. So, 345 to 166 in the Battle of the Undefeateds. Honk, honk, motherfucker. The Geese are still undefeated after that head-to-head battle. This is actually the first time I'm going to get to look at these screenshots here, to be honest with you. Which half is which? Do I see a GG? That's second half. All right. So, Allied side, the Goose got to start off on 215 to 76. They take it. Kills are about a 21 advantage, yeah. On the Romario side, 25 on Rafinha. What do you expect? He's always right there. He's going to be at the top of that scoreboard. Ooh, Vanna Key played this week again, too. Nice. LZL on 21, 18 on Vanna Key, 16 on Man, 15 on Bud, and 12 on Matt. And on the Goose side, 27 for Crawd again, and he has been just great for them all season. Whatever happens with Goose, whether they win silver or not, you got to look at Crawd as being one of their most valuable players easily, because he has been consistently in their top 2 fraggers week in and week out. And speaking of most important players, 27 as well for PDX, same exact score lines for both of them. 24 and 9 on a DB, just a ridiculous half out of Ryan there on the sniper rifle, of course. 23 on Asani, who I believe is a source player, but getting in the lineup this week. I got to scrim against him. I had no idea who he was, but he was really good for being such a new player. Like, he is another guy who, if he's going to keep playing 1.3, the ceiling is very, very high there. And then 14 on Bromley and 13 on Nicholson. So it was about a 140-point lead there after their Allied side. Not the end of the world by any means. It was definitely doable, but they held on, as you can see there, 130 to 90. We got a couple missing guys in this screenshot here as well. Looks like no Rafinha and no Bud. But 18 kills on Man, 14 kills on Matt, 8 on Vanna Key, 6 on LZL. It looks like maybe there was like reconnects with some of these scores too. Like, guys must have lagged out at some point or crashed. That's my guess. I don't know that for sure, but just looking at a couple of the score lines, I'm thinking there was some lag outs. On the Goose side, there you go. Crawd, top frags overall. 27 again, 54 kills leading the way. And what was the biggest game of the season so far. Winners first place in silver here, and Crawd comes up big when it matters most. 20 and 10 for Nicholson as well in the car. Then again, maybe there wasn't lag outs. I mean, this might have just been a very low kill total half. I don't know. Someone will have to let me know on that. Or if there's an HLTV, I wouldn't mind watching that, to be honest. 17 and 13 for DB on the sniper there. 15 and 7 for Brino on the Stas. 16 and 18 for Bromley on the STG. 16 and 22 for Asani on the car. I already said 17 and 13 on the sniper for DB. So yeah, I mean, all in all, what was the final victory total there? 180, 179. So that's like 3 caps, keeping it within striking distance, just not able to finish it off. 40-point loss on their allied side. I know how that feels all too well right now. So, good game by Romario, but Goose Patrol remains at the top of the silver division, man. Just they keep on pushing forward. And every week, like, it just seems to be a team effort out of them. There hasn't really, I mean, maybe on Harrington, I forget exactly if Brino might have like top fragged by a good amount that week, but generally speaking, like, you don't see a whole lot of guys going super negative for this team. They're getting production from all classes. Like, obviously, Ryan on the sniper rifle is always going to be rock solid, but when they had Nicholson sniping too, he was doing great. Even if they couldn't have either of those guys snipe, Bromley can snipe then too. And then if all else fails, you just put PDX on the sniper, right? Like, believe me, he can do that too. For Romario, obviously, it's a tough loss, but those guys are going to be just fine. I don't know how they feel about Anzio. Certainly, they've had some big wins on Anzio. I feel like it's one of the maps that I haven't watched them on quite as much as like Harrington and the Railroads and Lennon. So I'm not sure that they would qualify that as like one of their best maps. So, if you're running a Goose in playoffs and maybe you learn something from this, like to have a game plan going forward against them. But if not, you just ban it up. That's the beauty of a best of 3. So nothing to hang your head about on the Romario side of things. They are still one of the favorites in the division to take it all. All right, M1 versus Later Rivals. This is obviously another one I did not get to cast. Which half is which? I actually can't tell which half is which. I'm just going to assume that it went in order. For M1, 467 to 270, they take it. Just about 200 points there, 197 to be exact. Their allied side, 262 to 97, they win it. On the Later Rivals side of things, Bullet with the top frag there. 28 and 20 overall. Then you had 23 on Azilla, 21 on Bo, 19 on Jack, 19 on Insight, and 17 on Nightmares. Good to see Giacomo playing again. I've actually asked this almost every DODCAST, I'd say, and Shoutcast, since I saw him join the roster. Like, Giacomo's got to get in there soon, right? There he is, doing just fine, coming back in his first match. And on the mild side of things, 30 and 17 for Moosh. I say it every week for sure about him. He's going to get like 60 plus kills and about 30 deaths, especially on a sniper rifle. He's as reliable as you're going to get performance-wise there. And no different here. 27 and 12 for Alapex as well. A really nice half there on the bar for him, which is very important on this map. When you got a bar that puts up a score like that, the odds are that you probably always had Street, and you probably most of the time had Plaza. And if you've got Street and Plaza, your bridge team is not very comfortable because you always got to be worrying about meat, and that is a very, very key factor on this map. We saw it over and over again this week, really, with how much Street is this massive funnel throughout the rest of the map, and the team that takes the best advantage of Street, not necessarily the most. You can hold Street forever and ever, but if the other team gets Street and not only gets it, holds it a little bit, but uses it to fan out to the rest of the maps undetected, maybe get a flank on bridge, maybe get up the church tower without them knowing you're there, it really can be devastating. Like, truly. Just look at the Chilton Skilled match. We'll see it later. I casted that, but Sick and Chi, it seemed like they were everywhere, but they were starting off in Street. They were constantly everywhere on the map. I don't know how they were so perfectly maneuvering around the map, but it all started in Street. They were pushing out of Ivy. They were pushing through sewers to Bridge. They were pushing through sewers to Church. Just maneuvering around the map, making life a living hell for Clinic. It's so hard to deal with heavies that understand that aspect of Anzio. And Alapex with a 27 and 12 half on allies there. I'm guessing he was an extreme thorn in the side of Later Rivals that half in the Plaza and the Street. 26 on Quarter and 26 on Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, really solid rifle too. And then 18 for Red Dog and 14 for So Many Cats. I continue to be unsure if So Many Cats, also known as So Many Commas, on the KTP page, if that's Joel Edmonds. Someone told me it was Joel Edmonds, but I have absolutely zero information backing that up. And then on to the second half. Axis side for M1, they take it 225 to 173, so a closer half here. Yeah, wow, 52 points there, not bad at all. On the late arrival side, Azilla with the top frag, tied with Bo as well. And then it was 27 for each of them. 27 and 19 for Azilla sniping, 27 and 24 for Bo, who I assume was heavying. I can actually double check that, I believe. I will in a second. 23 on Nightmares, though. 15 for Bullet, 7 for Giacomo, and 6 for... So that's 8 for Insight, 7 for Giacomo. And for the M1 side of things, once again, there's Dustin, 33 and 12. So that was, 63 and 29 overall, was it? Yeah, 63 and 29, over a 2-to-1 ratio. You know, that's like the pinnacle sniper performance you can ask for right there. Top fragging, locking down anywhere he goes. Let's see, quarter, 29 and 22 with the car. Not sure which route he went, but either way, you get a car performance like that, you're feeling good. 24 and 17 for Pizza Hut as well. Same thing there. 26 and 18 for Red Dog 2. I actually skipped over him in the going through it by who led in the kills. 26 and 18 with an STG. Another really good heavy half there by somebody on M1, which, again, very fucking important on this map. And then 13 for Alapex on the Unt and 10 for So Many Cats on the Stas. A 52-point win in that half and about a 200-point win overall. Another big one there for M1, getting themselves going, heading in the second half of the season here and getting ready for the playoff bracket that is to come for everybody. Just experience out the ass on that team and a lot of good players, certainly being led by Moosh, the kind of guy that you want on the team for a playoff run. So that's another team who it's just a matter of trucking on forward. They will be just fine. And for later rivals, it's just for them, they too have the ability to really get problematic for teams to play against when they've got the right six out there. Like when you got Secretly and Casino both playing and just building the roster around those two guys, I mean, that's tough to deal with. Just those two guys in and of itself. After that, they got a lot of guys who understand the ins and outs of the game and playing their role at it, especially Bullet, obviously, above all else. It's just been a matter of getting those guys in the lineup, right? That's really been the only problem they've had above all else at this point. I think Casino is generally pretty busy, so I mean, maybe it's possible that he's not going to even be able to play that much this season. Secretly, man, when he played on Harrington, that was a fucking crazy game. I always love getting to watch him play because he is just obviously a fucking pro gamer. So we'll see what happens with them lineup-wise going forward, but it's always interesting to see how things pan out. Moving on to Spicy versus Los Wick. As you can see, 885 to 190. Spicy just continuing the trend going forward, just being a dominant force at the top of Silver here. Obviously Goose is undefeated right now, but Spicy is right behind him at 3-1. Obviously Romario after that loss at 3-1, and then we have one other 3-1 team that we have yet to get to here. As if you can't see it right on the screen there, but whatever. Okay, so that is second half. Wow, people are actually, I think, all posting the screenshots in order, but I'm still always double checking. So Axis side for Spicy here, 386 to 124. Man, it was about a 40 frag difference there as well. Just a really dominant Axis side there. On the Los Wick Allied side, he had 19 on AZ. Looks like he was the only one that was positive there. 19 on Jiraiya Jr., 16 on Jiraiya, 14 on Manga, 14 on MP, and 11 on Ryan. And then for Spicy's Axis side, 34 and 8 sniping for Stamp. Sweet Jesus, what a half. Man, that's 4-to-1 KD ratio. More than 4-to-1 KD ratio there. That's ridiculous. That is as dominant gets with a sniper rifle. 32 and 19 for Matt Fazana, of course. A vintage bridge car there. We saw in the frag of the week. We saw a stamp of the frag of the week too, but his clip was with an STG, so it kind of was irrelevant to the sniper side of things. But Matt pushing up Z into spawn house on Axis side, Bridge of Anzio. You can just go back and watch any of the Die Life movies, and you will see numerous occasions where he is doing that all over the place. 32 and 19 for him. 22 and 17, for Kevin on the STG. after sniping earlier in the day, comes right back to heavying. 16 and 9 for Twist on the heavy as well, just locking it down on his route. 16 for Laura, and then 12 for Luke. I mean, who was left to kill at that point with the number of kills everybody else had, especially stuck with the Stas, like, it's a pain in the ass. I've been there many, many times. And then on to the second half. This was 499 to 66. So that is just a massive scoreline. Nearly 500 points put up there. I can't tell exactly what the kill difference was because Loswick is missing one guy. So it was probably about 30. Wait, so it's 98. So that's like 43. No, it was definitely less than 40. It's probably closer to like 30 again. Okay, so missing one guy here, of course. Looks like it's Jiraiya, but AZ 26 and 25. That's a solid half when things are going that wrong. Like it's tough to pull off a positive half in a match like that. So kudos to him for that. Just staying mentally focused enough to keep fragging more than you're dying is tough. For Ryan, 20 and 22. 18 for both Manga and Jiraiya Jr. And then 16 for Empy. So, I mean, this is just a dominant half by Spicy. They have gotten very good at Anzio. I think early on for them, I don't know that they cared much for Anzio, but it seems like they kind of figured something out where now they just look like a well-oiled machine on Anzio at all times. For them, 36 and 19 for Kevin on the bar there. Just fucking fragging it up. Playing the heavy now, man. What's it like to not be stuck sniping all the time? I want to know. Call in. Let me know. 28 for Luke there. 28 for Matt as well. 20 and 5 for Stamp on the snipe. Jesus Christ, another 4-to-1 KD ratio there. I mean, as a sniper, having a 4-to-1 KD ratio is kind of like that's the golden ratio, right? Every sniper wishes they could go 4-to-1. And he just did it both halves. That's crazy. 19 for Laura and then 10 for Twist. Another instance of who was left to even kill at that point. Nothing. There was nothing. Oh, I can actually check the deaths to see roughly what the kill difference was in the end, right? Because they had 110 deaths. There's 98 kills there, so it's probably like 12. There could have been TKs, suicides, whatever in there. But roughly, the kill difference ends up being about 30. So yeah, pretty close. But yeah, another big win for Spicy. One loss so far, but they're one of those teams that you fully expect will be there come finals time. At bare minimum, semifinals, but they've been in like every fucking final so far, so why wouldn't you expect to see them there again? And then I think this is the last silver match, right? I do believe. No-Go versus 3H, and here it is. I mean, this was a big one for figuring out, like, after what the one undefeated team was going to be from the Goose and Romario game. This was a big one, too, between No-Go and 3H. As you can see, No-Go with the victory there. 477 to 252. And we finally got a sighting of Tony Compton in the lineup all season. I've been like, where the fuck is Tony Compton? When is No-Go going to have Tony Compton play? And he picked this week against 3H on Anzio and immediately went out and was a difference maker. I got to check if he top fragged. It looked like he's definitely pretty close if he didn't actually top frag. So, first half, 307 to 84. Obviously about 223 point win. Kills are very close there, just a 12 kill difference. On the 3H side of things, 26 on Ian there on the sniper rifle. Great half for him. 23 on Defrag. 24 on Cam as well. The bear there, I missed him. 20 on Steve, 19 on Piff, and 15 on Big Bird. And then over to the No-Go side, TC with 33 with the bar, dropping a big bomb there. And again, when a heavy's having halves like this on Anzio, generally speaking, it's tough to overcome because they can just be all over the place from where their route tends to funnel through. Very difficult to deal with. 33 and 22 for him. 28 and 15 for War Within. Another great sniper half there. So a dueling of great sniper performances. Anna with 24 kills as well. Great Garand half. 21 for Stark. 18 for Trance and 15 for Dedro. Stark and Tony is a hell of a really, they have like 3 main heavies, and any combination of the 3 of them is going to be tough for most silver teams to deal with, whether it's Stark and Tony, or Stark and Spoon, or Tony and Spoon. You know, like, that's a fucking dope heavy team. And then on to the second half. So this is No-Go's Axis side. They did win this half as well, only by 2 points this time, but getting the job done both halves, you always feel even better about it. Like, it's nice to win, but when sometimes it's a map where there's a heavy split on one side, like Old Lennon, where Allied side, I was like, can I win by more than 400? Harrington a lot of the time, although less frequently as of late, it seems, but generally, Allied side, how many times can we cap out? In this case, winning both halves is a big moral victory for No-Go as well here. On the 3H side of things, a big 31 kill half there for Piff on the heavy. Piff is as consistent a heavy as it gets. He's always putting up good scores. You know, I mean, it's been pretty much, I can't recall like a bad half that Piff has had. He's generally right there with everybody. 23 on defrag, 20 on Ian again there is positive. Again, just a nice sniper game for Ian here on Anzio. 18 for Steve, 17 for the Bear, and 14 for Big Bird. And on the No-Go side of things, Trance with 37 on the car there. Jesus, he had a hell of a half. I'm not sure which route he was going. If I had to guess... You know, I'm not sure. I thought maybe if I just kind of like looked at everybody and parsed out which routes they were going, maybe I could figure it out. But no, I'm really not sure. Regardless, 37 kills with the car. Trance continues to put up ridiculous car halves week in and week out. War Within 30 and 16, basically 2-1 there. Really nice Axis side sniper half there. We saw the clip out of him in the frag of the week as well. That nice 3K on bridge with 2 shots through corners. 23 kills on Tony there on the Unter, going with the mobility over the heaviness of the STG. 21 for Anna, again, a really nice game for her, rifling 2. And then 15 for Stark. 18 for Deidre on the Stats, and 15 for Stark as the other heavy. Just a big win for No-Go here. The winner of this game would have falls into that spot in the standings where, what is it, the top 4? You got Goose at 4-0, and then you got No-Go, Romario, and where's Spicy? There they are, Spicy. Yeah, so that is the winner of that game was going to be in that top 4. And No-Go gets it done. They bring in Coach Tony for it, and it pays dividends. And No-Go is another team where it's like their roster is chock full of great players, and it's just a matter of what roster they're able to put out there week in and week out. It's the same thing for 3H too, and obviously now with 3H, bringing in Illusion, that's a great pickup for anybody in either division. But especially adding his activity level. He's very active. He's playing basically every night and usually streaming playing as well, and is very committed to getting better and doing whatever it takes to win. So that'll be big for 3H going forward. I know every week they have problems putting 6 together, so just adding a guy who you can rely on to be there and put up good performances every week and be committed to putting in the playing time will make a big difference for 3H here. And having Ian putting up the kind of numbers he has this season sniping, it sucks to lose Austin. He wasn't playing, but the luxury of having Ian on that roster, who has been able to step in now with the new computer, which was, I know, his biggest problem before, step into the sniper's shoes. Obviously you got other guys on that roster who historically are snipers. Steve, another sniper. Johnny was a sniper forever. Warchild, Cam, the Bear is a sniper too. Like, they have oodles and oodles of snipers. So for 3H, it's just going to be a matter of getting a consistent 6, take it from me. I got an inside scoop that says every week they're not sure if they're going to have 6. So if they can just know they're going to have 6 for a couple weeks straight, I think it'll go a long way for them. Because they obviously, having won silver last season, most of the team back, you got to feel like they've got a great chance to go try to do it again. But you just got to have a consistent lineup to be able to do that. Certainly missing Matt, the owner of the team, if you will, and one of their best players at all times, and on a heavy as well. which is something that I always talk about there being like a little bit of a lack of. Like, there's not a whole lot of big game-breaking heavies left in the game. There are a few, and those guys are the most sought-after players in the game. Rifles and snipers are plentiful. If Matt was playing all the time, I think for them that immediately takes them up a notch, because that combo of Matt and Pip is just crazy. They have been so good together. In the meantime, you're just kind of cobbling together who's going to be the second heavy, depending on who's there, what map it is, and everything. But yeah, I think that the pickup of Illusion will help iron things out a little bit better for them going forward. And then, come playoff time, it'll just be a matter of who's going to be able to show up. Is Matt going to be able to maybe be around then a little bit more than he is during the regular season? That would be sweet for them. Yeah, that's really the big question mark with 3H. They obviously, having just won the championship last season, are a great team. Just got to get that cohesion together when the time is right every week, come Sunday or whatever day the match ends up being. All right, so moving on to the gold side of things. Where is the first gold match? There it is. This one that I got to cast. Over with 2 wins in 1 day, man. What have I been saying? They did have, of course, Ringer. Or was it Ringers? Yes, Ringers. They did still have to use 2 Ringers, of course. King Yo got in the game this time, and Chi was once again playing for over here. And this was kind of like an early sign of what was to come on Anzio later on in the night when he was playing with his actual team. We kind of got a nice little free preview of that. But Over takes this game over Gray Hair Mafia, 518 to 378, 140-point win there, so 2.5 caps basically. Obviously for Gray Hair Mafia, missing Sean Allity, who is a very important player for them. But Corey Price as a fill-in is a pretty comparable backup to get in there, You can't complain too much when you don't have Sean, when it's like Corey that's slotting in there, because he is another explosive, goes on big streaks, multi-kill kind of a rifle as well. So, but that is another big win for Over right there, man. All right, this, I believe, was first half. I could be wrong. Yeah, I can't tell for sure. I'm just going to assume it was first half and proceed as such. So, Allied side for Gray Hair Mafia there, they get the job done. 275 to 255, a 20-point win for them. On the Mafia side of things, 27 for Jesse. I mean, Jesse's been great for them every half. As you would expect, he has been in that top 10 to 15 players in gold statistically every season, and I don't think it'll be any different this season. He is always going to be at the top of the scoreboard for these guys. 23 for Corey, as I said, filling in for Sean there, immediately doing a good job. 21 for Kellen, 19 for Pibian, 15 for Cody, and 9 for 9. I believe on the Tommy. He had a couple of very important plays on their Axis side in particular. There was one point where he got, which we were talking about earlier, getting pushed out of Ivy, and was able to, I think he got a 4 or 5 kill streak clearing out Plaza, and almost managed to I was up until the last minute and a half, I was saying that I feel like Gray Hair Mafia is going to pull off a comeback, because they could have. They were threatening to cap out on a few occasions where it was if they get this cap out now, there's more than enough time, and it just came up just short. Usually due to Over players getting into good position to either defend the flag or to snag a flag behind them, which can also be the great equalizer when all is said and done. And on the Over side of things, 30 kills for Caffrey on the STG, just a fucking beast. As always, another one of the few game breaker heavies there are right now. 28 for Kum Kum, continued his hot day there for him and the boys. 26 for Devin on the sniper rifle. I say it every week. We all know what I'm talking about. 23 for Scotty there, having another good half filling in. 19 for Chi, doing the street job, the dirty work as a heavy on Axis side. And 14 for Kingyo. This is the wrong game. And then on to the second and final half. This half, Allied side for Over, 263 to 103. That is a deceiving score, I would say. To me, this game, just 1 or 2 lucky breaks, and Gray Hair Mafia only loses by 30 points, less than a cap, and then 1 more lucky break, and they pull off the comeback. It really looked to me like the Insomnia versus 3H Anzio game for a few minutes there. Like, they were starting to fucking turn it up. Riv was going nuts. Wait, this might have been the second half. Because I remember Riv pushing up main ramp to the Axis first flag and getting a boatload of kills. So this is the second half. So they were actually down heading into the second half by 160 points. They needed to have 3 more cap outs than them, and they pulled it back. They won by 20, but they were threatening a bunch. As I was just saying, Riv in particular, like, just started going off on multi-kill after multi-kill after multi-kill. Corey as well, I know, had another big play where he kind of like got behind them, was able to get out on a bridge and put in some work on the Axis side of their bridge. Jesse, of course, I mean, if you're top fragging this half, you're of course doing a bunch of big things. It was that half where the comeback was going on. This half was the established half, and that still happened with Tony. As you can see, 24 and 18 there, and a big piece of that was a point where he got ninja'd out of street and was almost able to bring a full cap forward just off the back of him getting, I believe it was either 4 fast kills or like 3 fast kills, and then another 2 pushing up to the 1. But yeah, 263 to 103, 160 point lead that Over had after the first half. On the Mafia side of things, though, 30 kills for Jesse, so he top fragged overall with 57. Riv with 29 there. Regardless of what the score was on Allied side, I can assure you, he just about threw the team on his back at one point. It was like he was just spawning and just plowing through the map, getting 3 or 4 kills at a time. Like, it looked like he was going to find a way to pull that game back in the hands of Grey Hair Mafia one way or another. It was pretty fucking crazy. 25 for Pibby in there on the sniper, as I alluded to earlier. 24 and 18 for Tony, with a couple of really nice plays, just finding soft spots and making things difficult for Over on both sides of the map. And then 17 for Corey and 12 for ProStar. And on the Over side of things, Caffrey, 37 kills. He top frags overall with 67, I believe it was, right? 67? Yeah, 67 kills. You know Caffrey's always going to have a good Anzio game, especially after having to play a tough heavy map like Thunder right before this. This probably feels like heaven as a heavy, going from Thunder to Anzio. You know, and Anzio's not exactly the best heavy map either, but compared to Thunder, it feels like Lenin. 37 kills, 37 and 24 to be exact for Caffrey there. Big game for him. 29 and 18 for Chi. Like I said earlier, this is kind of like a free preview of what's to come later on, because he had a hell of a game for his actual team as well. 27 for Devin there. We saw that ridiculous 5K in the frag of the week. You know, if I have a self-appointed clip of the week, that would be it. And then 19 for Kum Kum, 15 for Kangyo, and 13 for Scotty. Over moves to 3-1 and is at the top of the leaderboard in gold right now. I believe tied with Bandits, right? Yeah, tied with Bandits. So, how many times have I said it? I feel like Over's got a roster that could easily be the team to beat in gold. It's just a matter of putting it together. Obviously, this is not that, because they were playing with 2 ringers. But as I said earlier, you know, you're going to tell me that if you throw Mata or Till or Sokka into that lineup, or SZ, like, these are the guys that would be moving into those spots where ringers are. I mean, come on. Like, those are all fucking studly players. They are going to be tough to deal with. There are formations of that roster that are as favored as you can find in gold. So, another team to be excited about in the gold division. On the Grey Hair Mafia side, I mean, it says a lot that you just felt like there was going to be something magical coming out of that game. You know, for them, Sean, you know, Corey is a great fill-in for him, but obviously Sean is kind of like, you know, one of the beating hearts of that team, so certainly having Sean around helps a lot. You know, frag-wise, I don't think that's necessarily what the problem is here. It's just Sean is like the leader of that team. So when he's around, that always helps. But, you know, like, they have talent coming out the ass on this team. They're just kind of finding the stride. Obviously, we know it was a big debate. Should they be in gold? Should they be in silver? They definitely should be in gold. Do not mistake me on that. Like, the talent on that team is as good as you're going to see. It's just a matter of bringing everything else together. We saw what they can do in week 1, taking out Bandits, a team that you could probably favor to win gold at this point, right? Like, why not? Why wouldn't you? They are very capable of doing that to absolutely anybody. Just depends on the map. I think that they just got to kind of like expand the map pool on what maps they feel really, really comfortable on, and everything like that. It's really just the little things coming all together for this exact version of the roster. Because obviously, a big chunk of it played together last season, but lots of moving pieces, maybe some route switching. I think that the foundation of this team is absolutely absurd. I've talked about what the heavy team is with Riv and ProStar. I know with heavies a lot of times too, like you want one who's going to be more passive and one that's going to kind of lead the way. Certainly on a map like Anzio, you need a heavy who's dedicated to kind of babysitting street. Not necessarily sitting in street, but knowing what's going on in street. And it can be kind of tough to establish between a heavy team, like who's going to be what role on each individual map. We've seen it on Thunder, just like with Jules and Ryan, they were both always used to being the point man heavies who, like, you expect to go out and get 35 kills at all times, and kind of parsing out who is actually going to take that step back on each individual map. Like, it's a learning curve. But Riv and ProStar is about as legendary a 2 heavy names as you're going to find in the game. These guys are going to be fine, and I think that they are going to be the dark horse come playoff time, because all it takes with a team that has that level of talent in among all their players is just for them to have a few guys who have a hot game, and then it doesn't matter what's going on with routes and roles. If you have players on the level of Riv and Jesse and Sean and Corey and Pibian and ProStar and Nine and these guys, Booten if he's in there, Hypnotic. These are guys who, when they have good games, they put up 90 kills, You get a couple of those at once, and all of a sudden it doesn't matter what the other team's doing because they're all in spawn for the whole fucking game. So, just little things for Gray Hair Mafia, I think, is the difference right now, and that will come just the more they get to play together. So, on to the next one, which I did also get to cast this game, Chilton Skill versus Clinic. Chilton Skill 661 to 170, which is very fucking impressive to me, man. Clinic is a good Anzio team. I already spoke about this earlier when it comes to what the heavies were doing, Chi and Sick. Man, it was crazy to watch. They were just, they were holding street and then just picking the best times to leave street, either through Ivy or through the sewers or even occasionally down main. And it was just like they were getting 2 kills at a time over and over again. It was like when they picked a spot, whether it was to push through Ivy or push through sewers somewhere, it was a guaranteed 2 kills. They just always found the soft spot and made it absolutely impossible for Clinic to ever feel comfortable anywhere. I during the cast was blown away by how often I would switch to Chi and Sick and they would be behind everybody just over and over again. Multiple times I actually saw it all formulate from the start where they pushed out of Ivy and the respawn was at the perfect time where they were able to just come behind the Plaza team, getting on Plaza. But a lot of the time I was just kind of clicking through trying to find the next frags, and there they were behind everybody, just somehow they got into Church Tower, somehow they got into Fruits, somehow they got into Pizza, somehow they got into Sundial. They were everywhere, man. There's nothing you can do about it when there's 2 guys that are on that level of fucking 4D chess going on in the game. You just don't know where they are. They're not doing anything that all the thousands of hours of repetition in this game have trained you to deal with at all. And that change of pace made this game, I would not have wanted to be the team playing against that in this game. I don't know what you do. I really have no idea, short of dedicating a player to babysit that aspect alone. Just be on the lookout for flanks and be on the lookout for sewer plays. Outside of that, I don't know what you can do. There's not much. It's something that someone's going to have to think about, I think. Or just plan on when you have to play Chilton Skill later on, don't play Anzio. Because I don't know what the answer is for a heavy team being that dominant. Off the top of my head, I have no idea what to do with that. So, On Children's Skilled Allied side, 278 to 89, so about a 189 point win here. It's about 3 caps. It looked very doable, right? Like in the cast, I said the same thing. It's like, this is very doable for Clinic. Having played against them on Anzio enough times, they were in very good spot there heading into their allied side. It felt completely up in the air. So the kill total lead, Children's Skilled by 27. On the Clinic side, 29 kills for Carp, of course. He's the man. 20 for Insom, 20 for Swab, 18 for Vic, 17 for Sam, and 16 for Tom. And then for Children's Skilled, it was 33 for Justin there. Just a clinical fucking grand half. 26 for Ben. He had a nice game on the sniper rifle. 27 for William. 23 for Chi. 21 for Die Life, so Matt was ringing in this case. Obviously a nighttime game Raven can't play, and no Leo still, so hopefully he's feeling better, and we'll get to see him back and playing. I know I say it every week. I actually don't know what the situation is, if he might come back or not. And now Children's Skill added Austin, so if they can schedule matches to where Austin can show up, that will help alleviate the need for, having to play ringers all the time, which is always nice for a team, certainly. We'll see how that goes, but that's definitely a story to keep an eye on, because that's a really fucking good player. And then on to the second half, so this was 383 to 81, just a crazy Axis side for Children's Guild here, man. Absolutely insane. For Clinic, 22 on Vic, 22 on Insom, 21 on Swab, 19 on Sam, 18 on Carp, and 12 on Tom. And then for Children's Guild, 37, a huge game for Hildy here. I believe he was the MVP overall. 30 for William on the STG, 30 and 15, just a nutty half there. And then 24 and 12 for Chi on the STG. Like, that's how lights out they were playing. That is tough. It's tough to go 2-1 with an STG on this map. Very tough. And they both did it. It's just like they never... Their in-game intuition was just flawless, and their execution. Obviously, you can perfectly play a situation out and get to a nice position, and then whiff on the shots. And what the fuck did it matter? These guys were just on fire. It was like that's demos that heavies should watch for ideas on how to better execute Axis side heavy on Anzio. Honest to God. I would say I have the HLTVs, but they are on another computer, so I don't have them. And I don't think I sent them to anybody. So I'll have the HLTVs in like a week, if anybody wants to look at those on how they work, but... No, it's okay. Well, someone asked me for them. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But, yes, so... I already went through... I got up to Chi, right? 24 and 12, and then 26 for Die Life there on the stats. He was actually top fragging for like the first 10 minutes. I recall distinctly mentioning how it was a day showcasing ringers being awesome, because Matt at that point was top fragging with the stats, but obviously a couple people caught up to him there. PB at 27 kills. See, I skipped over. That's what keeps happening when I'm going over the scores. 37 for Hildy, 30 for Sick, 27 for PB, 26 for Die Life, 24 for Chi, and 20 for Insane. And yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. I've said it so much right now. That, to me, was a absolutely crazy Axis half, what they did. It was just, I would not have had an answer for that. And I don't know who would have. This is something that teams are going to have to think about if you have to play against that team on Anzio, because that was fucking nuts, man. That was nuts. What a display by Children's Guild there. And then, of course, the final one, 308 to 306, Bandits over Thunder, putting Bandits tied with Over for that top spot. This was a really good game. It's unfortunate this wasn't casted, or was it casted? Yeah, this was casted. Yeah, 9 casted this one. Sorry, it's been a blur. This was not first half. This was first half. So, for us, on our Axis side here, we lost 220 to 118. We actually won the frag battle there by 15. For us, it was 27 kills on Dorito, 24 for me, 24 for John, 23 for Tox, 23 for J-Rod, 16 for Jules. Class-wise, I was rifling, Dorito was rifling, J-Rod was thirding, John Gale was sniping, and then Tox and Jules were the heavies. And then on the bandit side of things, you had 25 kills on Andrew, 24 kills on Element, heavying. He had a nice heavy game here, which again was very, very important. 22 for CK, 20 for Milo, who always has just studly plays on this map. Regardless of how many kills he has, he always finds a way to have one or two big plays that are like backbreaking to you. Times where you think maybe you're about to maybe threaten for a cap out or something, and then Milo has popped up in street and is killing 4 of you, or grabbed a flag at the best time and then killed 4 of you. No different here. He had 20, 18 on Justin on the sniper, and 13 for Timo, which we saw in the frag of the week, though. He had a very important streak in that 13, which is you never focus too hard on your kill total. It's about what you do with the kills that you get. It's really not that relevant quantity. You can have a half where you get 13 kills like that, and you might have the most important life, you know? Colin getting that, 6 kill streak with the car that led to a cap out in a game where we lost by 74, and it's a 60-point cap out. So that basically is the difference right there. Something to think about anytime you're maybe having a tough half or a tough game. Just remember, one life can be the difference between, man, I had a really shitty half and we lost, and like, man, I had a shitty half, but I did have that 4K to cap out and we won. Always worth remembering. And then in the second half, our allied side, we win this half, but only by 28, not enough. They win this half on the kill totals as well. So both halves, the team that won in the points lost in the kills. So for Thunder, we had 24 for John, 24 for Tox, 22 for Jules, 21 for J-Rod, 18 for Dorito, 16 for me, and on the bandit side of things, 31 for Justin. He had a ridiculous Axis side. There's no killing him, man, on bridge. Just had bridge locked down. Really, the whole bridge team had bridge locked down. 31 for Justin, 23 for Timo, also on bridge, 23 for Milo, not on bridge, but still 23, 20 for CK, 19 for Element, and 17 for Gall. It was a really intense game. I actually had to play each route, so I did get to experience what was going on there. Their bridge team on their Axis side, they made it like impossible to ever get our feet under us, or lack thereof, in my case. They had a really, really good setup. Justin was hitting all his shots, holding on to bridge and meat locker, holding on to street. Just made it like impossible to really apply pressure from either side. Their nades, of course, when you got CK and Colin both throwing nades, they're not going to fuck their nades up. And I think maybe the most important part of it, too, they weren't getting overly antsy with their pushes. They were taking well-timed pushes, and they were generally doing it from different places. And they were doing a good job of baiting out the cap. Just kind of like throwing a guy onto the cap, get us to throw our nades over the top and out of spawn house, drop into the water so they're not at risk of accidentally blowing up the nade, and then waiting for the peak by guys who don't have grenades, finishing off the kills and using that spawn wave to get the cap. It was really, really good fundamental teamwork on Axis side of bridge there, the way that they played it. Makes it almost impossible, man. Like, unless you just run up out Z or loft or water or whatever and hit 3 obscene Garand shots, before one of the car or sniper or Stas immediately kills you, like, what are you going to do? I think we maybe had bridge like 3 times in that entire half. And historically, allied side bridge has always been like one of the most comfortable spots that we have on any map. They locked it the fuck down. It was very, very good job by them. And on Plaza side, on their allied side, it seemed like they were going to do a very passive setup where, like, if they didn't have bridge, they were always ready to support the Plaza team with bridge players. Because we would kill the whole Plaza team, get ready to hop on the cap, expecting, like, maybe there's going to be a guy there, maybe there's going to be a nade coming, but there would be not just the one guy in grass or fruit, but another guy in Z or spawn house still watching it, throwing multiple nades that way. They just had a really perfect Anzio game plan, and they executed it to a T. Kind of like taking advantage of what the general expectations are. You know, like you expect just on a very, very baseline, you have the 3 guys going your route. You kill those 3 guys going your route. That opens up the double cap. You know, you use those expectations against the team as much as you can. They did a very good job of that, where we kill the Plaza team. That's a perfect time for one of their bridge players to prime a nade. Because as soon as the route is down, pretty good chance that the team that killed those 3 guys is going to try to hop on the double cap. And if you've already primed that nade, you're going to break the cap rather than hope to kill them after the cap. And then if they don't get on it, if you're throwing the nade properly, you can still do some damage to them around the cap area, like near the lower church area, the bottom of main ramp, etc. So, yeah, it was just, again, a clinical job by Bandits all around. And then I think maybe one of the biggest moments was a play by Milo on this half where we were kind of swarming, threatening for a cap out. Milo, I actually looked at the HLTV to see what happened, and we had a sniper in the church ladder window who was like looking back and forth. It was Tox, I believe, who was looking back and forth between main ramp and grass, just trying to make sure like to hold down Plaza. And just the way the timing worked out, he just missed Milo coming out of the Ivy and getting into Fruit, and then ninjaing out to our 1, getting our 1, which then led us having to send resources to try to get the 1 back because we weren't going to be able to cap out without that first flag, and that did enough to pull us away from the cap out. I think we actually do get all the flags but R1 for like a couple seconds. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think very quickly at one point we did have everything but R first. So if Milo had not, again, made that hero play that I alluded to before getting into this game, we would have been at least within that, like, if we get both double caps and can hold it, that alone would win us the game. So just Bandits, man, that's a fucking crazy, like, all-star roster where you're missing Taylor. Doesn't fucking matter. We have Justin we can throw on the sniper with no Arachnid. We have Element we can throw on any class, anywhere. We have Timo we can throw on any class, anywhere. We got like fucking 6 of the best cars in the game. We also got Kaboom waiting in the wings if we need another heavy to throw in there. He can rifle or snipe too. It's just, you know, that is like effectively just a team of all-stars that are now meshing together as a team. In the vein of like what T3 was initially, where it was like just all ridiculous players. They weren't quite a team yet when they first started, but as they played together more, you started to see that there was really something special there. That's the same thing with Bandits, man. Like, they are really, really fucking good at the game, and they are not just like pugging it up as a bunch of good players just fragging. Like, they have an acute understanding of what works to win at this game. And that team is scary to fucking play against for anybody on any map, especially a map like this where you lose track of one guy. That guy is definitely going to be good enough to cut your team down in an instant anywhere. It is quite a luxury. I mean, Justin Lynch, to me, I said it last season when he joined ICEAT, he's like the best possible utility player you can have. Like, you can put, I said it last week too, like, he can heavy and top frag. We saw it on Thunder. Here he snipes, and I don't remember if he top fragged overall, but he obviously top fragged by a lot on his Axis side, but that's like his natural class sniper. You know, you're missing Arachnid, who's already one of the best snipers in the game. You just throw Justin in there. And then, again, I think his best class is probably rifling, and he hasn't even had to play that yet. So, it's one of those things that I said earlier about versatility. Like, having players who can play multiple classes can really be the difference maker if you don't have like a really reliably, constantly showing up starting 6. And this team, man, they're putting different lineups out there every week and having the same results week in and week out, just looking like the team to beat in gold. So good game to them. I forget who they play next week, but we'll get into that now. I'm already, wow. I've been talking for way too long, guys. Fuck me. Fuck me. All right, we need to really hustle through these fucking predictions. God damn it, man, every fucking time. I need to start putting myself on like a time limit for each portion of this shit. I try to make sure to not just like burn through matches, you know? And if I didn't watch the match, I try to at least speculate about what might have happened. All right. Let me get into the weeds here. So, I mean, here's what I will say. I did talk a lot about the current state of these teams in the recap. So, like, maybe that's where I can make up the time here, is that I don't need to get into all that again. I don't need to talk about how good No-Go's roster is, or 3H, or Saab, or Romario. We talked about that. So I'm going to try to just focus on who is going to win, why I think they're going to win, and not get into the minutia behind each and every team here. That's where I'm going to make up the time. I'm going to try to, at least. Man, there are some good matches this week, too. It is actually fairly depressing to me that I might not get to cast anything. Damn it. I miss the days when there was like a match on Monday, and a match on Wednesday, and a match on Thursday, and I was getting to cast like fucking every game besides my own. Those were fun back in Season 1, 2, and 3. It's happened less and less. Teams have now seemingly shifted more and more to playing at the default time based on whatever time zone they're in, for the Euros being the 3 p.m. Thank God for that, or else I'd never get to cast a game this season, it would seem. All right. Oh, that's a good game right there. No-Go Spicy, man. 3H Saab is a big one, too. Those are two very, very big games in silver, man. Shit. Romario High Rollers, M1 versus Goose, and Loswick versus Late Arrivals. That'll be, I think, a close game as well. So, man, I mean, match of the week, gotta be No-Go and Spicy, right? 2, 3, and 1 teams. Winner is firmly planted in that second seed. Yeah, I don't think they could take over the 1 seed even if Goose somehow lost, right? Because Goose, I think, has the tiebreaker over all the 3 and 1 teams right now. Am I right? There's Romario, there's Saab, Goose over 3H, and Goose over... Okay, so they don't have it over No-Go, actually. So if Goose did lose this week and No-Go won, No-Go would overtake the 1 seed. Actually, no. Neither team could overtake the 1 seed, but they would be tied for the 1 seed. And Goose hasn't played Spicy or No-Go yet. So those will be big games. Yeah, Goose versus No-Go on Halley, and Goose versus Spicy on Anzio, which is going to be a bit of an unknown quantity kind of map as well. All right, so No-Go Spicy, the clear match of the week, right? For Spicy, you know what you're getting lineup-wise. You're getting Kevin on a heavy with Twist. You're getting Laura, Life, and Dillard on the rifles, and you're getting Stamp on a sniper rifle. If someone's missing, Lynx is filling in. If someone else is missing, which I haven't ever seen happen to them, but then, hey, I can get in there. 2 great backups to have. I every week it's speculated, like, is this the week that Stealth goes back to sniping and Jared goes back to heavying? It seems as though they're sticking with this, which I love that. And I totally get it, because it gets fucking boring playing the same classes all the time, man. It does. And for the No-Go side of things, this is a total mystery. Again, I think that this team has some seriously potent lineups they can put together. It's a matter of who can show up. But last week, you had Deidro, you had Tony Compton, you had War Within, Ana, Stark, and Trance. That was the lineup last week. Beyond that, I have no idea of who might play, who might show up. Certainly Matthew and Spoon, always possible of them being in there. I don't think Blue Revolver is very likely to play. And Koi, he has played this season, but I think he's kind of, 15% likely. So Saints here, right? This is going to be a lot hinging on the snipers, right? Stamp has been fucking great this season, man. I would love to check the stats. I don't have him saved here, though. Yeah, I'll worry about it next week. But Stamp has got to be near the top of the stats. He has been ridiculously consistent sniping this season, and obviously War Within as well has been. Those 2 guys, a lot on their shoulders for this week. It's a very sniper-favorable map. I'm going to be interested to see what teams do with Water. In the past, Water was a 1v1 route where you could use, it's like Train in that regard, like it's a 1v1 route, but you can use it to send an extra guy or 2 through there to get you quicker up to the team's last 2 flags. So it'll be interesting to see, do teams look at it like train car? Do they send their trained players that way? Do you look to maybe send like a big fragger there on either half to try to get a straight shot up to like a spawn, try to pick a bunch of guys off a spawn wave? What do you do with that? On the Broken Bridge side of things, certainly the heavy battle, Kevin and Twist up against, is it Compton and Spoon? Is it Compton and Stark? Is it Spoon and Stark? That'll be a really, really fun one as well. And then obviously you got a big ass wide open bridge map. It's a Rifles field day. The X factor on this map in regards to that Rifles field day is the nades. Very nadey map. I know Jared has worked on getting that number of nade kills down and is still continuing to try to do so, but it is still very nade favorable. So both teams going to need to have their nade shit down. I'm going with Spicy here because Spicy has been damn near unbeatable for a long, long time. But to me, like, if No-Go puts together a lineup of their like best possible 6, they can absolutely win this game, and they could do it in a surprising fashion. I don't know if they will do that. They've had kind of like a revolving door of a 6 here, but they have like more than 6 players that you can mix and match onto classes and routes that can beat anybody in Silver. They just haven't really put those lineups out there yet. Like last week, got real close to it. Still missing Spoon. You'd love to see Spoon in there. He's been one of the best players in Silver every season so far. Matthew, same thing. Like, you just got to find the right mix and match on that team. Who's comfortable on what classes, on what maps. But just from a baseline, looking at it like last week's lineup of No-Go versus Spicy, I'm taking Spicy here. It'll be interesting just to see what they do route-wise and everything. I think it'll probably be pretty default, but you never know. Matt, Die Life, always been a really good Saints rifle. I suspect that won't be any different here. Just the rifles, like that, the Die Life and Diller combo, man. Generally speaking, when they are most needed, those guys put up big, big numbers. So I suspect they will do the same this week. Stamp and War Within will have a good head-to-head battle, and will both put up 60-plus kills, I would say. And then you just need a big performance or two on the heavy side of things that makes that X factor. I think Spicy wins by, the scores from the scrim we played, it looks like it's not very high scoring. Not quite Thunder level, maybe. I guess it depends on how many times to cap out. It's certainly not an easy map to cap out. You got to kind of kill a spawn wave or ninja, but not on par with Thunder. So I'll say Spicy by like 30. 25 to 30, I think, in that range. Less than a cap for sure. Moving on forward, trying not to make this a fucking 2-hour video. 3H versus Saab. If there's a co-match of the week, this is certainly it. These two teams are right behind those 3-1 teams, 2-2 and 2-2. Obviously, 2 semifinalists from last season as well. 3H, the defending champs. For Saab, so they actually have for the start of the season, it was like these are their 6 players, and then Kayla was added, and now he's been playing more often than not, and now Baron is in there, which is a great, great pickup. I know Yanni is kind of trying to be more of a backup this season. The question is Nightmare going to be there? And if he is he car barring? Is he straight up rifling? Doesn't matter what Nightmare does, he's going to put up 70-ish kills, right? On the other side of things, right, you got, is Baron going to get in there? What's the 6? I don't know. They have a lot of lineups too now. Adding Baron in there gives a lot of flexibility to this team. I will be curious to see. You got a Toki versus Ian matchup on the sniper rifles. Toki maybe been the hottest sniper to start off the season right now. He's been great. Every single fucking week, looking so good, putting up huge numbers. And as I said, Saints, very sniper-heavy map. On the 3H side of things, as I know of right now, Warchild, Piff, Modgers, Ian, and Illusion are playing. Not sure who the 6th is. It might be Jane. I don't know if there's even a chance of anyone else playing, but she'll be on my computer, so that's a big plus for her. because my computer's pretty fucking sweet. Yeah, I don't think that there's anybody left on 3H's roster that's like up in the air at this point. So that seems like the most likely scenario. Yeah, I don't know. So you figure like for the 3H side of things, rifle-wise and sniper-wise, you got a really nice core there. Illusion in his first matchup this week. I know that they did scrim the other night, but I think that not that whole team is going to be reflected in this match. Like, I know Steve was playing in that scrim, Cam was playing in that scrim, Defrag was in that scrim, so they're going to be missing a big chunk of the guys that were playing in that scrim. But Illusion, of course, been putting up numbers with everybody. It will be no different here. That's going to be big for 3H. Johnny, of course, another guy who has been an X-Factor rifle every fucking time he plays. And you get a reunion of that heavy team that I referred to earlier, Piff and Modgers. With that core 5 right there, and then if you got Janen, where you're going to put her in the water, you're going to have her whole Broken Bridge, whatever. I know she hasn't played this map, but it's one of those things where you've got a nice enough 5 that you can slot her in somewhere to where she's going to feel comfortable. She's giggling. But on the Saab side of things, I mean, you got a bunch of bona fide fucking killers here, right? Toki been godly with the sniper rifle, and Nightmare more than likely rifling with Scotty and Kingyo. Those guys are very, very, very reliable. And we saw last week, man, Kingyo and his nades, he's starting to come up there with the Timos and CKs and PDXs and Toxinators, right? Whoever else are the big naders that people feel nowadays. That's going to be the most important thing, I think, on this map, in this matchup. Who's throwing good nades? All these guys can aim. I think you have a pretty good wash across the board in like shot for shot between the two 6s. I think nades are just going to be the most important side of this. And then the snipers, of course. When it comes to Ian versus Toki, if either one of those guys has like a really fucking big game, that could be the reason that their team wins. If either one of these guys has a really tough game, it could be the reason that their team loses. Because it's such a long-range map down fucking straight down the pipe. There's a couple of really sick sniper spots. Allied side sniping is much, much easier. You're more covered from grenades, certainly. But Axis side, you can do some damage and be more mobile. So I'm going to go with Saab here. They look really good. 3H, I just want to see their roster get a little bit more consistently showing up, right? Like, too much of this, who is showing up, and is anybody here, and oh my god, people showed up at the last second. To me, 3H, like, should be in that top 2. They just need to get the lineup together and glued in place to where there's not so, like, with the team like that, like, you shouldn't have so many question marks about who's playing what and who's showing up and everything. If you remove that factor, then you put 3H right up there. You know, it's 3H and Goose and Spicy and Romario. Like, those are the big 4. With the no-go and Saab fucking right up their ass. But right now, Saab is really, really hot. Adding Baron was a great move for them, obviously. And, yeah, you know, 3H, it's going to be a tough one, but I think either way, it's going to be close. And I think Illusion will immediately come out with a bang this week and debut, putting up a huge, huge effort for them. And I mean, that alone could be enough to maybe swing it back in the direction of 3H. Just getting that new excitement in the blood for Illusion, having the chance to go win now and make a big playoff push. That to me could be an X factor on how 3H can win this game. But I'm saying Saab by like 20 to 25 points. I call it like I see it. This is the DODCAST. I can't help it. All right, on to the next one. I can just feel the daggers. I feel the daggers. All right. Romario versus High Roller Gaming. Wait, did I say Romario or Goose? I said Romario. Romario versus High Roller Gaming. And Goose versus M1. Okay, for a second I was questioning myself. How deep into this? Oh my god. Okay, so for the Romario side, where'd they go? It's in alphabetical order, Corey, fucking idiot. Okay, for Romario, Rafinha, playing consistently, Man playing consistently, Matt, LZL, Bud all playing consistently. The 6th has been a little bit more up in the air. Vanaki has been back, which is very exciting, man. I love the look of that team. With Vanaki added in too, that's a sick fucking team already. Then you throw in Vanaki, who has been one of their 2 best players dating back to, season 2. Or season 1 even, really, if you go back to when it was heavyweights and sleepers. This guy's been a stud. But even when he's not playing, man, when you put in BLK, Zaps, Lobaton, these guys are all killers. And then on the HRG side of things, as I was talking about earlier, just wipe the slate clean now. There's been a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, just like question marks, just turmoil with that roster that you can just cut it off now, get a fresh start, become a unit, functional together, and I think that they can salvage this season and make a push. Like, you look at the names on the team, the Lacroix brothers, 2 guys that have been winning at the top levels of this game forever. AimTech, we all know what he can do. G getting back into the swing of things. You got ARG, who has been a beast when he's playing. Dullamus, who was a lifelong invite player. I don't know much. Here's the thing. That could be Storm from NPG, who's fucking nasty. Or Nitro. There was a Nitro. Actually, I think it was Nitrox on NPG. So maybe that's not him. Those are the reasons that I'm thinking it might be those guys, but why do I think that? I have no real reason for it. To me, just wipe the slate clean, HRG. Like, this team can be very good. They got the pieces. They just got to kind of mesh together. Illusion has moved on. There was obviously a lot of trying to find a new team, and then they were going back, and AimTech was trying to find a new team and then going back. Now, I think you just wipe it clean and push forward from here. I think that team could be very, very surprisingly good moving forward, honest to God. Just a matter of now kind of getting rid of the shit going on behind the scenes and just figuring it out with a clean slate. It's a tough fucking matchup to draw right away. Romario is ridiculous. Goose is the only team that's beat them this season, and Goose is obviously the big favorites, with the MVP of all of DOD right now and PDX leading the way, and leading a bunch of guys that are all fucking hitting their peak, man. Team looks scary, and they took out Romario, who I think it would have been right there with them on the scary, scary roster, not to mention the fact that they work hard to get better and are very active. You got to go with Romario this week, but I think that HRG can really show immediate improvement right now. Just kind of like the worrying about, like, is the roster about to fall apart and stuff? That's a lot to deal with. Like, you can't really fully commit yourself to, like, we are going to go out and scrim and practice as a team and go out and win this week. It's tough to do that when there's big question marks over just the existence of the team, right? Obviously, losing Illusion at a technical level on the scoreboard as a player sucks, and he was the captain of the team. There's no replacing that. But just losing that question mark of, like, well, if he leaves, do we stay together? Are we still a team at that point and everything? I think now that aspect of it is gone, so they can just kind of like focus on what are we going to do next. And they still have plenty of guys who can fucking play with the best of them on this team. Romario, I'm going to take to win by like 50, 60. I could be very wrong about what these scores look like, by the way. Like, I'm not positive on how Saints scores. I was just basing it on one scrim. So this map could be like Harrington score-wise, and I'm dead wrong on every one of these scores. Just don't quote me on the scores. But yeah, I'm taking Romario. They're just, to me, like one of the top 2 teams in the division. So it's a tough draw for anybody, but I think that HRG can immediately look better going forward just as a unit. And I expect to see that out of them, Like, these are guys who want to win. And it's just a matter of kind of like taking that next step now of blending together as a team and finding what works for them as a unit. But yeah, Romario, 50, 60, who fucking knows if these scores have any chance of being right. Man, my nose is clogged. All right, M1 average versus Goose Patrol. So for the Geese, generally speaking, Nicholson, Hopper, DB, Bromley, Crawd, and PDX We did see Asani get in there last week in place of Hopper. So now maybe a little bit more of a... And we've seen Zampalik get in there too. So they do have somewhat of a rotating sixth spot there. So you can't be certain what the lineup's going to be. But I can assure you, whatever lineup they put out there is going to be able to beat absolutely anybody, with or without PDX. They are a ridiculously good team with a lot of chemistry together. And then on the M1 side of things, you got Alapex, Dustin Moosh, so many commas or so many cats, 3-sided quarter, Red Dog, and then like sometimes it's Meep, sometimes it's Pizza Hut. iJab's got in there. This map, obviously having a sniper on par with Moosh, very, very nice. Moosh versus DB, I think, will be one of the most fun sniper matchups of the week, period, across either division. For M1, though, again, this is just a tough draw, man. 4-0 Goose Patrol, they look like world beaters right now. This is one of those things where it's like you just want to take every bit out of this that you can. Because this team is really fucking hard to beat right now, man. And on a map like Saints, where we don't have the fucking thousands of scrims and 12-mans and matches, it makes it a little bit harder to really pull a rabbit out of the hat. At the same time, that can lead to upsets too. You never know what can happen if you just have like 3 guys pull off really hot games, right? But you can't pick against Goose Patrol, man. I can't pick against them until they lose. And it looks like they're not going to lose. You know, I think that Moosh will still have a big old game here, though. Like, this is a sniper's paradise map. The only way it can get rough is on your Axis side getting naded into oblivion. It's tough. Sitting at the end of bridge, like, that's where you want to be. You want to be able to be there to pick off the rifles and the sniper on the other end. Sometimes, though, like, as soon as they get the call, sniper end of bridge, nades are just fucking flying in your direction, and you gotta go like 1 and move somewhere else, or 1 and just fall back behind the tank until you hear like 3 explosions. That's my advice for snipers on Axis side. You can take the chance at first and see if they will be disciplined enough to hang on to their nades to throw at you, because that thing is a fucking minefield at the end of that bridge for the Axis, because a car is going to probably be there too. So you can kind of like take the chance, hang out a little bit, see if nades come, and if they never come, you can just be comfortable at the end of bridge. But then if you notice that once you get a kill, you're getting pelted by 3 grenades and they're reliably landing, go to school on that. But yeah, you know, Goose by like 80, 85. Again, these scores are totally variable at this point, but I expect big things out of Moosh this week. And yeah, you know, just again, take everything you can out of this matchup. Goose is a really fucking tough team, and just especially for a player like Meep, who's still new to DOD, being able to play against a team of that level. I remember playing against, like, the first time I played against UKZ, and the first time I played against GameWise, first time I played against Highball. Like, you get to play against, I mean, it's not fair to be comparing Goose Patrol to these teams before anyone crawls up my ass about it. I'm just saying, compared to what's going on in the present state of the game, Goose Patrol are the world beaters of silver. And when you're a newer player, getting to go against these guys who are out there dropping bombs all over the place, it can be a really, really useful learning experience, you know? Just seeing the difference in speed, the difference in execution, spots where, like, you're way more likely to get naded against good players, stuff like that, goes a long way to just continuing to develop as a player. And that's something that is helpful to anybody. It doesn't matter how long you've played. The meta of the game is ever evolving. Just look at how Children's Skill just played Anzio, like talking about with Chi and Sick, the way they heavied on Axis side. That is not something that I've ever seen heavies do. Like, they just played in a totally fucking different way, and it worked like a charm. So yeah, you know, it's one of those things, just getting reps against the best possible players is really the best way to continue to get yourself upper and upper towards that top echelon. Okay. And lastly, nope, that's the wrong week. We got Loswick versus Late Arrivals. For Late Arrivals, you got Bullet, Bo, Azilla, Nightmares have been pretty reliably the 4. I would love to see both Secretly and Casket to play, man. One of these weeks, we're going to get to see that. You've had Giacomo play, you've had Insight play, you've had Epion play, a little bit of a revolving door in those last 2 spots. Oh, man, my nose is fucked. Where are we here? Where'd I go? Where did I? There we go. Oh my god, I was right next to it. On the Los Wick side of things, you got Jiraiya, Ryan, Manga, AZ, Jiraiya Jr., and MP have been the main six. And that is another team that I've really enjoyed getting to see continue to progress, because it really is with these guys. They have a lot of foundational talent. It's just a matter of coming together as a team. This is a really nice one for the, because right now, I believe the plan is to split the playoff bracket. This could easily be a potential final matchup on that side of the bracket, right? Both these teams have showed a lot of promise across their games, being able to hang with the teams that are the fucking juggernauts in the division. A lot of experience on the side of later rivals in the form of Bullet and Casino, especially. But for Los Wick, just continuing to get the reps, man. They got a lot of potential on that team. I would love to see them, what could be extrapolated over a couple more seasons. Who knows how many seasons DOD has left in its life. And then getting MP in here after, week 1 or week 2, bringing in a guy who has played at the top levels, all throughout his career, being able to bring in some more veteran guidance and skill as well was a really nice pickup for them. This one, we can talk about it every single time we talk about this map, man. It's going to be Sniper Paradise. So, Azilla has looked great on the sniper rifle this season, pretty consistently. He has a big performance this week. Boom, there you go. Problem is, Los Wick, just as a team unit, have been very impressive. For a group of guys that we hadn't seen play as a team before this season, I was very impressed by things I've seen out of the games I casted for them. And on a map like Saints, that can be big. It's a big fucking map, and you can lose track of your teammates very easily on the mini-map. That can lead to TK nades. That can lead to you thinking somebody's there on a route or ready to break something, but they're not. Having that communication and teamwork together will go a long, long way. I think for later rivals, if you have Secretly and or Casino playing, that's going to be very helpful to win the game. Without that, I want to lean towards Los Wick here. Just from the technical execution of teamwork side of things. Getting coordinated peaks and coordinated grenades on a map where there's a million angles to deal with for long range battles. And then on the heavy broken side, having that double doors and the house and the water all kind of closing in on each other there. You can use those things to your advantage with good teamwork. And then even getting pushed up even further than that when you get into the hall with the ship pile, whatever you want to call that. Fucking box hall or some shit, I don't know. Whatever you want to call the ship pile area. These are all areas with multiple angles where coordinating the push with your teammates can really, really be what goes from you got 2 kills and died to you just blew through that route, killed all 3 guys on the route, and are now pushing behind for a cap out while someone's coming out of water and pushing up bridge. I think that's where Los Wick is going to be able to thrive this week. For later rivals, just adding that extra frag power of a Secretly or a Casino can bring that back, even that out to where it becomes a coin flip of a game, right? Obviously, last week, neither of them were there, so I can't say, clearly one of them is going to be there, or both of them. But, if they can pull those guys back like that I think might swing it back in their direction, right? I like the makeup of that team and where they can spread out all their resources a little bit better. But yeah, I'm going with Los Wick for now. I'm saying by 20. But man, I would love to see later rivals have Secretly and Casino play both at the same time. I think that is what unlocks the next level for that team for sure. But Los Wick, just from a base of their understanding of playing DOD as a team combined with just their natural ability so far, I'm going with them to take this one. Saints is going to be a very interesting map to see from a team play standpoint because we haven't played it in the league yet, These things interest me. And, God, can I keep this under 2 hours? Just barely. I don't think I'm going to be able to. So, on to the gold side of things. Right off the bat, we'll do my team for Thunder, Toxinator, me, Jules, Dorito, J-Rod, and I don't know who. Is it going to be Ryan? I don't think so. Is it going to be Grant? I doubt it. Is it going to be Ace? Maybe. Is it going to be John Gale? More likely, right? That's been generally who our sixth has been. And then on the clinic side of things, Tom, Candy, Suave, Carp, Vic, and Insom has been the main six. Sometimes you get an Allen in there. Good luck, have fun to these guys. This is a team who I'm very curious to see them play on Saints. It's unfortunate we play against them because their raw aim, especially out of their fucking rifles and Carp, man, like that could be a lot to deal with just right then and there. Like beyond the fact that they also are a team that has been playing together for 5 seasons. So just that without having to have played Saints more than like 5 seconds, just their baseline of understanding playing with one another, it will be very helpful on a pretty new to the KTP scene map. Not new by any standards, obviously, but how much have people really played this map dating back to 2022? I think the person who's played it absolute most has probably played it less than 20 times, as compared to every other map where you're in the fucking triple digits. Not sure who the sniper battle will be with Carp. Maybe it's me. That's always fun when me and Carp snipe against each other, because we will both go for crazy, crazy shots. But I'm not sure if it's me or John yet this week. So either way, though, I mean, the sniper battle on every map on this map, or on every matchup on this map, is going to be fun. But we love Clinic. These guys are all absolutely awesome dudes. We even got to play them in CS2 at one point, which was really cool. I didn't play in that one. I actually sat and watched everyone stream in Discord and wanted to cast it later on, but it was kind of tough when you only have Discord POVs of one side. But good luck, have fun to Clinic. I expect this one will be full of fireworks back and forth, just with the play styles of the two teams, And then on to the final 2 games. Can I keep this under 2 hours? The pressure is on. Chilled versus Gray Hair Mafia. On the Gray Hair Mafia side, I mean, I assume Sean is back this week, right? Sean, Jesse, Nine, Pibian, Riv, and ProStar. If any of them are missing, depending on the class, you could see Corey, you could see Boot, and you could see Hip. And then on the Chilled and Skilled side, Chi, Sick, PB, Hildy, Insane, and then if it's in the afternoon, right, then Raven can play. If not, do you see Bees in there? I'd love to see Bees get in and play for this team, maybe even get to Rifle, since Chi and Sick have really blended well together as a heavy team, or Austin in there. I assume if you have Austin play, you probably can't have him snipe, right? Like, Hildy's been one of the best snipers, period, in KTP. Like, I think it's probably the best call if Austin plays to be putting him on a Rifle. And then, of course, the total unknown in this is when will Leo be back? Because that immediately right there makes them an even bigger threat. There's, because of these pickups of Bees and Austin, there's some really fucking crazy lineups that this team can put out there. Really fucking crazy. Now, again, with it being a little bit of an unknown map here on how teams are going to play it, Ben versus Pibian right off the bat. How fun is that sniper matchup, right? Those are two guys that not only do they get a bunch of kills, but they usually get them in bunches too, and in very exciting ways. It's going to be a bummer to not be casting that game. The rifle battle is going to be nuts as well with the aim on these guys. And a little bit of an icy hot reunion there with Jesse going up against Ben and William, and maybe even Bees as well. But like Sean and Jesse, and then like, I don't know, is Riv gonna heavy this week? Is Nine gonna heavy? Who's gonna third in this whole thing? I'm not certain what the line. We played against Gray Hair Mafia, but like they were missing Sean still for that game, so I'm not sure if maybe they were just Sean wasn't there for that and he'll be here for the match, or what they might do lineup wise. But then the battle on the heavy side, Chi and Sick looked so good last week. If they put up a performance like that again, no one's beating that. It's just too much to fucking deal with when you constantly don't know where the heavies are. And then they're behind you when you least expect it. It's just, there's no way to reliably deal with that short of putting like a rover on that assignment to just watch your fucking back. Which seems like a waste, right? Because then if they're not playing that same way, then you're just wasting a guy who is pretty much constantly playing behind the other 5 players and is out of the map and more or less every time he dies, then you have to worry about what's going on behind you. But Chilled and Skilled look like one of the best teams. I mean, really, all the teams in fucking Gold look like they can beat each other this season, honestly. You know, it's tough. Like Bandits, I think, looks like the best team. And then Over, I keep saying it, depending on what lineups they put together, is right there with them. And then, obviously, Thunder's never out of it. Chilled and Skilled beat us, too. Clinic has beat us before. Gray Hair Mafia beat Bandits. Like, it's just so wide open. I'm going to go with Chilled and Skilled after how they looked on Anzio, and with another nice pickup here, picking up Bees and Austin to try to fill the void of Leo not being able to play so far. It's a really good way to go about it, right? But I think this will be a really close game. I think Gray Hair Mafia has the right players to be able to contend with what Chilled and Skilled brings to the table. Pibian being able to hold down Hildebrand, you know, like that's the guy you'd want here, right? He's so fucking fast, man. He's so fast. It's actually intimidating at times. But you got to go with Chilled and Skilled. But on this map, it's probably, you got to consider an upset map too, right? This would be a huge win for Gray Hair Mafia to get after a couple of tough weeks in a row. Having to play Thunder versus Thunder is a huge fucking pain in the ass. And then last week against Over on Anzio, which was just like a crazy game, and it looked like they might be able to pull it off. But Chilled and Skilled, I'm going with by, 10 to 20 points. Maybe a cap can get pulled off here. That's the thing, is it's unclear just how hard it is to cap on this updated version of Saints. You pretty much, the spawns are so close to those last flags, though. Like, if guys are hitting their shots, you always have a chance to stop a cap. So I'm assuming it's going to be tough to cap out. So I'm saying like 20 points for Chilled and Skilled. And then the big one, the 2 3-1 teams at the top of the Gold Division here. You got Bandits and you got Over. Man, it's a bummer to not cast this game. A lot on the line here in the Gold Division. So for Over, we really have no idea what their lineup will be, generally speaking. You assume it's like, what, Kum, Saka. I mean, I keep saying, is Till going to play this week, but he hasn't played. So, like, I'm just going to stop assuming that until he does. Say Kum, Saka, 50, Caffrey, and then, like, Mata or SC, and then Devin on a sniper, which, that'll be a good one right there. Having Devin on that sniper rifle on Saints, that is going to be nice. And then for Bandits, very much been different sixes for them every week, but hypothetically, Taylor and Milo on the heavies, CK, Timo, and then like either Gall or Element on rifles. You could see Justin on a sniper or Arachnid. Either way, that's a really good sniper. And then if either the heavies are missing, you could see Justin or Element there, or Kaboom. I mean, it's really, you have no idea what lineup's going out there for this team. But whatever it is, it's godly. Man, I mean, the sniper matchup there is a heavyweight battle, whether it's Devin versus Arachnid or Justin. That's like, it's a wash, and it's just who's feeling it more. Who's feeling themselves more, especially on the Axis side. I feel like the Allied side, you're generally going to have a good sniper performance. But if you can drop like a 30 to 40 on your Axis side sniping too, that probably means your team has had control of mid because of it. Just being able to get more, because it's tougher to break it from the Allied side of bridge. The nade is a lot more reliable from the actual like bridge Axis side. Obviously, you can throw it over from the broken area and stuff, but even then, it's like if your heavies are pushed up, you can cut off that break. I fully expect both snipers to just go off in this game for these teams. I think the heavy battle will be very, very important, because gaining control of that broken area, whether it's the broken house on the Axis side, or then like the double door and ship pile area and window room on the Allied side, that could be the difference between which team gets and holds mid and which team is then playing defense for the rest of a half. So like a Taylor and Milo, or Justin and Milo, or Justin and Taylor, or Element and Taylor, or Element and Milo, I could go on and on. Versus Caffrey and SC, or Caffrey and Mata, or Caffrey and Till, or even Caffrey and Kum, if that right version of the team comes together. They have their work cut out for them on the overside of things. Rifle-wise, all these rifles are nuts. I think that's a wash, right? Nade-wise, on the Bandit side of things, right, you got to kind of favor them, right? You got a lot of reliable, going to do the fundamental nades and hit them every time. There's not a lot of fancy nades on this map to really do, but if there are, I'm sure Timo already knows them. But as far as just the reliable nades, you got to favor Bandits a little bit. So I think overall, I'm going with Bandits here, even though I've been praising overall season and saying that, like, this just put together the right lineup, they're going to win against everybody. But, like, just piece by piece, looking at it right now, like, I think rifle-wise, just in the raw game of the two rifle teams, it's more of a wash. And then nade-wise, I favor Bandits. Heavy-wise, I mean, just Bandits has like 4 different insane heavy teams. Caffrey and whoever heavies with them will be able to hang with them. Will they be able to lock them down, though? That's asking a fucking lot, man. To lock down 2 premier heavies. It's a really tough ask. And then Devin versus either Arachnid or Justin, or even Alex. Element has sniped this season too and done well. So whoever gets thrown out there on the sniper rifle, I think that's going to be, again, more of a wash where both guys have a good game. But you got to take Bandits here. I think, again, by less than a cap. I think that's going to be the trend. I think it's going to be similar to Thunder score-wise. But please prove me wrong. Because we don't need another map that is like Thunder where there's no cap out. So hopefully I'm wrong about that, and there is like multiple cap outs in every half of these games this week. But let's just say Bandits by 20, right? 20 to 30. But yeah, that does it. I don't think I made it under 2 hours. I started this thing. God damn it, 2 hours and 1 minute, motherfucker. It's 1:30 in the morning now. I got home a little bit later than I expected, but I said I was going to get this out tonight, so I did. Again, thank you, War Within, for every week getting the fucking frag of the week on time for the DODCAST. Like, it would be very easy for you to just say fuck it one of these weeks and just kind of roll it over into a second week. I've done that before ad infinitum. I think 1 week ended up being like 4 weeks for me. That was maybe my best frag of the week, though, so I can't complain. But thank you, War Within, for that. Please keep submitting to the man. And please no one use any Thunder movie songs, because that channel is freaking me out, man. It's freaking me out. The number of Thunder movie songs that I've seen pop up in that song channel every week, I'm like, no, please don't pick that one. God, no. It's freaking me out. But Saints this week. Good luck, everyone. Have fun. It's a different map, right? This is what we like. We like a little bit of variety sometimes. We do like our same basic 5 maps, but every season getting a couple new ones in there, seeing if they feel like they might be another Lennon or Harrington or Anzio. It's always nice. So I think this will be a pretty good addition. Plus having Tox, who is very willing to make the changes necessary to iron this map out to the point where it's a reliable add to the rotation, is very advantageous as well. So yeah, everyone have fun this week. Hopefully something works out where I can cast something, but it doesn't look like it. Best case, I can do an afternoon game. If people record HLTV of their matches and can get them to me, maybe I can do a couple of those or something, and hopefully I don't find out the results of the match beforehand. But yeah, maybe next week we'll play on like a Thursday or something, and I can cast every other game. Although even still, every other game besides the Euro-based games are at 9 anyway, so I can only pick one of those, right? I missed the days, man, when everybody was playing on different days and times, so I could just cast until I didn't have a voice anymore. KTP, everyone. I'll see y'all this weekend. Love you. Peace out. Yeah.